Joining us now from Miami is Senior Editor-at-Large at Newsweek, Josh Hammer. Josh, so good to talk to you. We have heard from Donald Trump, and he took aim at the Democrats, saying he's not prepared a speech for tonight. Take a listen.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm able to make a speech on pretty quick notice. If I win, I know what I'm going to say, and I don't even want to think about the losing part. I would like to tell all of the people that are online to stay online. We have tremendous Republican lines, and I've been asked actually to say it. It takes a while. I'd like to just make the statement that I'd like the Republicans to stay online. Democrats, if they'd like, they can leave. But I'd like the Republicans to stay online.
This is just classic Donald Trump, isn't it? Still making fun at the Democrats right up until the very last moment. What's your assessment of how he's really performed in the final days as we've seen the polls tighten?
So, look, Gabrielle, I predicted months ago that Donald Trump was going to win this election. I'm not backing away from that prediction right now in the very final minutes, quite literally, of this particular race. I will caveat that by saying that there is not really a possible outcome out there that would shock me. Having said that, I think it is more likely than not that Donald Trump wins, especially looking at the early voting data that we've seen out of a lot of states like Nevada, where Republicans outright led the early vote for the first time ever in early voting out in that state. Republicans in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, probably this election's #1 battleground. Republicans are far outperforming right there relative to where they were 4 years ago, let alone 8 years ago. So the data that I'm seeing overall is looking quite good. Now, having said that, we're going to have to see what happens here, and it obviously could go either way, but you way rather be in Donald Trump's shoes than in Kamala Harris's shoes. And, lest we miss the forest for the trees, Gabrielle, I think that there is a very important point here to make, and it is a slightly higher level, 35,000-foot altitude level point. There was a monumental polling miss in 2020 and a monumental polling miss in 2016. At this very stage, as the American people were about to decide their president 4 years ago in 2020, Joe Biden was ahead in the polls by 8 to 8.5 points. Right now, it is within 1 point, give or take, depending on your pollster of choice. Right now, Donald Trump is leading in most of the swing state polling that I've seen. So if there is anything remotely close to a polling miss like we saw 4 years ago or 8 years ago, Donald Trump is likely going to win comfortably. The Democrats are basically banking on there being a 2022 midterm election style polling miss as opposed to a presidential style polling miss. I think they're wrong to expect that. I understand why they're doing it. They have a self-interest in thinking along those lines, but I think that is ultimately incorrect prognostication for the very simple reason that Donald Trump is a unique political figure, and he has these unique low propensity voters who turn out for him in a way that they will not turn out for any generic Republican. So I think the polls are basically looking at a 2016-2020 style miss. I think Donald Trump's going to be back in the White House come January 2025.